Good morning, Patrick here from Complete Health, and I just wanted to jump on and talk about something that as chiropractors we should all be super passionate about, and this is the idea of movement is life. I want to just set up some context because essentially what we know is pretty much a lot of functions in the body require movement. Our blood circulation, our lymphatic drainage, our heart health, our joint health, our brain health, they're all reliant on things moving. And if we're not actually moving or utilizing the movement that we were created to do, all of a sudden certain systems start to go wrong. Now, the thing is, we have joints in our body. Even looking at our fingers, all of these things are moving because those joints are in place. Those nerves are sending signals to those muscles that help to control. Now, the thing is like anything, it's a use it or lose it scenario. And if we stop moving in certain ways, we start to lose the function of what's going on with our body. But here are some things that maybe you don't know about movement that actually help to improve the health of your body. Now, every single time you move a joint, especially in your spine, it sends a very strong signal to your brain. And if that signal is lost, what do you think happens to our brain function? Now, what we know about our brain is it controls pretty much every other thing in our body. So if our brain function is starting to go down, some of the things that we can expect to see is changes in people's brain function, e.g. concentration, mood, and ability to actually move. So your brain is sending those signals in order to actually make the joints move. So if we lose that, all of a sudden we're losing the function of our movement system and our nerve system, and then the joints and systems is going on there as well. Now, something else that's really interesting that occurs with movement. Now, every single time that you flex a muscle, especially in your legs, it helps your body to pump the blood and lymphatics back to your heart. Now, if your blood pools in your legs and it stays there and it gets stagnant, what do you think is going to happen? Because the purpose of our blood is to carry those nutrients, that oxygen, and those repairing tissue healing particles around our body in order to actually allow healing to take place and to keep all of our muscles, our nerves, and our joints properly nourished. So if all of a sudden you're not moving properly, all of a sudden you can get the pooling in your legs. So most of us will understand that if you go onto an aeroplane, quite often you get pooling because gravity has changed, and you can get stuff like compression socks in order to actually help get the blood back up. However, simply moving your joints will start to create this change. Something else that's very interesting with movement or exercise, the release of natural endorphins, one of the main ones being serotonin, which is our feel-good hormone. So we've got two feel-good hormones. We've got a pleasure hormone, which is dopamine, and then we've got our feel-good hormone, which is serotonin. Now, dopamine is a very short-lasting. It's one of those things that you get when you get a notification on your phone, or you open a new box and you got some new trainers and everything's very exciting and new. That is a dopamine rush in your brain. However, what you end up having to do is keep replicating that same process in order to get the dopamine rush. And this is why people get addicted to stuff like gambling, that first rush. And then like, okay, I gotta chase the rush. And it's that dopamine in their brain. However, serotonin is much more about contentment. So it allows us to be happy with what we have. And actually what we know about exercise is it starts to help us to produce those hormones in our gut and brains, because 98% of serotonin is actually produced in the guts. Good morning. Always a pleasure to see you. So for me, this is probably one of the most essential things about chiropractic, because what we have found is we are probably the best profession on the planet for creating movement in joints, especially in the spine. And the reason that we're good for that is that we're very good at breaking down the scar tissue in those joints, that actually restricts what's going on. Because if we're not moving properly, what can start to happen is the tissues can start to deform, the muscles can start to spasm, the nerves start to degenerate, the joints start to degenerate, and as a result, we start to see this inflammatory mess or dysfunctional mess where people cannot make that progress. What we know is the movement is essential. However, the first thing we have to work on is the quality of that movement so that we can make sure that people are functioning. If you want to learn a little bit more about this, I'm constantly putting videos up on our YouTube channel. You can even trace back through our Facebook channel. We've even got tons and tons and tons of podcasts on our iTunes and Spotify account, which is Coffee with the Chiropractor. So if you want to equally learn more, then obviously there's some really good ways that you can actually get hold of more information. Equally, most of you will have my emails that are coming to you. If you want to reply to those, I'm more than happy to actually send you in the right direction, especially during these confusing times when some people are still self-isolating, now other people are coming out. We just want to give you those opportunities so that you can still reach out to us. That's all from us today at Complete Health Eastbourne. We hope to see you guys again very, very soon.